Yes, it's another exciting time to learn something unique, simply simple. And my name is Otrole Mojibola. You're welcome to today's tutorial. All we do on this channel is make shoemaking easy and simple for you. You want to reduce your family expenses on footwear? Stay tuned. You want to actually build new stream of income? Stay tuned. And today we're going to be looking at this unique design. I'm going to be simplifying it as much as I can. I need you to do something for me. Just sit back. And guess what? I am gonna be right there. All right, the first thing we are going to be doing is we are going to be, going about our measurements. And the measurements I use here, I use a length of about 9 centimeter, and then I use the breadth is 9, and the length, which is supposed to be longer, is 25 centimeter. Now you can decide to cut off after, but I just want us to work with this. So after I've done that, it's the width is 9, and the length here, the breadth is 9, which is also the width of the strap, then the length is 25. Another thing I did was I measured about 1.5. Now this part is not inclusive, this upper part is not inclusive, please. So the major part is this side, so it's 9 centimeter. I am just mistakenly adding this extra here, it's not part of it. So I had 8 centimeter, is 8. So now from this point, from where I started my 8, I measure 1.5 centimeter and draw a line. I came to the lower part, I measure 1.5, I drew another line, which is what you have here and what you have here. So what I have left here is actually 5 centimeter. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to go ahead. Don't forget the design looks very funny, and as far as I'm concerned, there are so many ways you can create this design. Please note, it doesn't necessarily have to be this particular way, you understand, but I just felt I should share with us how I actually created mine. So what I did was I actually created like a strap like this. Now your strap is not compulsory that it should be as long as mine. Mine is about 9 centimeter, and then the width is about 2.5 centimeter. You can decide to make it tinier, like the width might be 2 and the length might be 8. It depends on how wide you want it to be, you understand. So it's not like it's a one-way traffic where it has to be like that, no. But that was what I used for mine, and I was actually creating it for size 40. So if you want to create for size 40, you can follow this. If you want to create for 38, I believe so strongly that you can just adjust where you have the range of the shape, that irregular shape we have right inside. So what I did was I went ahead and then begin to create, you understand. So the first thing I did was I placed my, what did they call it, don't forget, you can decide to still extend this part, especially if you are using a plain sheet like mine. You can still extend if it is not enough, you understand. But I placed this part this way. So I'm going to place this way. Now for guidance sake, for to be able to guide you on how to go about it, I will suggest that you can place your, don't forget I said the whole width is 25. So you can place your ruler here and then position it at about, let's say like 7, like at 7. So you want to position this one at about 7, you understand. It does not really matter, it can be at like 7, so like 7 or 6. So please don't let it exceed this unnecessarily, and make sure that this one also is still within the range of what you want. Please, I need you to follow me. No, now for those who might be wondering, how did I create this? Like I said, this is 2.5 and then this length is 9. I just curved the edge. I cut out like a rectangle that has 2.5 centimeter width and then a length of 9 centimeter. I curved this side and curved the side, curved the side. I've taught us this severally, and then we might not have to go into that again. So at this point, you have to be very careful. Now if you look at it, you find out that it's actually coming out a bit. It's coming out of the extension of our width, there is no problem. You can allow it to come out. It's just little, you understand. The middle one can be a little bit higher than the others, so it's possible that it appears like that. So just arrange it in such a way like you are creating an X. Now if you make it very wide, it will definitely be obviously wide. One part, maybe just a little part, may be showing outside. If you look at this one, just a little part. If you don't want it to be too wide, probably you want it to go in a bit, you want this one to go in a bit, you can also do that. So what I'm doing is like I'm creating a crossover it, you understand. So if you make it wide like this, there's tendency that, you know, the space where this shape will be wide. So if you don't want it to be too wide, you can work on it this way. Like, don't let it be totally, you know, like this, you understand, so that the middle part will not be lower than this other part. It's not like it's a crime even if the middle part is lower, you understand. It's possible that it's lower, there's no crime inside it, you understand. But because we don't want it to be too wide too, you also have to, you know, consider the fact that you don't want it to be too wide, and you are still going to place it this way again, you understand. But let me do this first so that you can see what it looks like. So when you're adjusting your own, you can adjust it to suit whatever you want. That's the reason for, you know, all of this explanation. So what we have here is just the first part of it. I think I want to make this place a bit better. So you can see what I have. That's the first one. So I'm going to bring it here and position it on top of it again to create the next one. Yes, to create the next one. I hope you can see what I'm trying to do. Let me place it this way so that it can fit in. Yes. So even if it does not totally fit in, don't worry. Just place. Just place. Just place. Can you see what I have? So I'm just going to bring that down this way. I'm sure you can see what I have right there. Then at this point, this one will be the next one. So I'm going to also make this one connect. You know, initially it was this one that connected with this one. So this one will now connect with the next one. So if you also desire, you can change. Because I find that it's like my curve, the two of them are not the same thing. I don't know why though. So I hope you are with me. Like I said, if you don't want the space to be too much, if you can decide to measure from here to here and use the same measurement here. You understand what I'm saying? So like let's say I take this measurement, this is about 3. I can decide to also maintain the 3 here, so that no matter what, the distance will not be more than that. And if you want it to be a bit smaller, you can definitely do that, you understand. So but you want to make sure that it's inside this part. Can you see? So it to be inside that place. If you want it to be closer, you can be closer. If you want it to go down, you can go down. So I'm sure you can see what I have right here. So like I said, please, it can be closer. You can make sure that it is closer to themselves and not as in it may not be necessarily far away. Like I can decide to make it look like this. At that point, it means that we'll make sure that the length is not as long as this. If you want it to be very close to themselves, make sure that this length is not as much as this. You understand? If you're going to still follow the same measurement that I followed, you can decide to reduce your own and make it like 4. Then you still have your 1.5 or 1.2, you know, extra. Just like I arranged this, make sure that when you are going to be measuring it inwards, it may not be 1.5, it may be 1.2. But make sure that instead of 9, you can use like 7. With that, it will come together, like it will be closer. than the way this one is. So you can imagine if it was like this. Can you see that it will be closer? You understand? It will be closer to themselves, and you wouldn't be needing as much as 1.5 extra here. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So, but let me just do this so that we can see what we are up to. So can you see what I have right here? So invariably, when I'm trimming out, I'm going to trim it in a funny way. Now, don't forget that it comes with one strap on this side and a strap on this other side. So what I actually did was, can you see this particular measurements? I'm sure you can see this one. I measured it like where my 1.5 stopped initially. I just added about 0.7 centimeter to it. If you want to make it like 1, you can decide to make it like 1. So you can use 1. Come to this side and measure 1 as well. So you can join it together at that spot. I'm sure you can see that. If you don't want your own to be as much as 1, don't forget, this is don't worry, I'll trim it out for us to see what I'm saying. This is what I measured, and this is 8. From here to here is the 8. From here to here is the 1.5. I came down and measured 1.5 upwards again. So you can see what I have right here. So I just measure 1 centimeter, from that 1.5, I measure 1. And that's the same thing I'm going to also be doing, right here. I'm going to measure it out. I measure this out. You also measure this out. So what you have in between here is 5. This place is 5 centimeter. That's what I use for mine. This inside is 5 centimeter. You have 1.5 here. You have 1.5 here. So from your 5 in this 5, you measure 1. I also measure 1 out here. So that at the end of the day now, you can see what I have. That will serve as our strap. Now you can make yours, not as much as that. You can make it, it may not be as much as that. It may not be as much as that. So after that, you find out that we have some amazing designs in between. I believe you can sort that out yourself. Like mine, I have a cutter like that I used to cut. So it has this shape. Now you can just draw a triangle shape such as this. Now for this middle, just this middle and this middle, for example, let me show us what I did. I just place it up because it looks like a diagonal or a kite shape that is there. So create something like a triangle, please, or a diagonal. So I interchange it just to position for the next one. So did you see what I just did? So this is what seems to be inside that one. So in this one too, it's the same thing we have. I think those are the two basic things there. But I believe you can actually create like a small diagonal shape and just, or a kite shape, so to say. Also, another thing you might want to do is, don't forget that that thing is in between this particular place. You might want the angle, this side and this side of it, to be equivalent on this side. Like, just place this way. Create like a mark. Then you can use that to create, whatever, how wide you want it to be depends on you. I just want to show you that you can also use that to create the shape in between. So like we have here, in between this is 1.5. So if you want it to be as wide as 1 here and 1 here, so you want to just draw like this. Maybe you can also measure this height to know whatever you want it to be here. If you want it to be as much as 1, measure 1 here and come to this part and also measure 1. So what it means is that this will be here and this one will be on this side. Then this part is going to come here and this one is going to come here. Not following my own system of the way I position it, which seems not to be right. So it means this one, all these ones are not correct. Are you getting what I'm trying to do here? So you do the same thing. Let this one to align with themselves here so that you can get the midpoint. I think this one similarly look like it's okay. You understand? It's just that it looks bigger. So we can also work on this one too, so that the two of them will be the same thing. This seems wider than that one a bit. So we can still use 1 and use 1. Please, I'm doing this for the sake of those of us who might be wondering, what is she doing? How did she do that? So this one too will come down and it will still come down. So you have a very perfect shape in between there. Then aside that, let me trim first. By the time I trim, there is more to this that you'll be able to discover because there are some openings here and there inside it. So let me quickly trim out. So your trimming system, please follow me. Where your one stop, that's where you are going to start. Can you see? Then you want to please, you have to be very careful so that you'll be able to, you will not forget and go and trim off your strap. So let me trim this part soon. I'm showing us this for somebody who might be wondering, so how did she cut it? So if you want it to be a bit wider, you can still increase the width while you are trimming, I mean the strap. So can you see what I'm having already? So now you can see what I literally have here. So what it means is that by the time I open up this, because from what you have here, you will find out that there is still like a kind of opening here. There is an opening here. There's also an opening here. There's a little opening here, a little opening here, a little opening here. The same thing is going to happen here, like a little, there's an opening here. There's also an opening here. I'm just trying to show us the shapes of the opening there. You can decide to make your own look like anything you like. This one is like this. This is like this, just like a little opening. And this is like this. So by the time you open all those sides, what you're going to be having is going to definitely look like this. Can you see what I have here? Can you see it? So it's now, That's just the major thing as far as this is concerned. I use my utility knife to cut it open. That's what I use. I did not use any form of cutter for this. So you just place. Now if you look at this one, you'll find out that it's very wide. So like I said, it's as a result of, you know, that's my strap. So you can reduce the width to like 2, so that it will not be as wide as this, and at the same time the width can also be reduced. Let me see if this is smaller. So from all indication, this is also as wide as that, because I still use the same strap. You understand what I'm trying to say? So by the time I create, if I say I should start opening this one, it can start tearing. You know, it's just ordinary paper. But if it's a cardboard, it will work effectively well. I believe these days you should be able to create this. Now, when it comes to the stitching part, I will see how I can actually, you know, see, maybe like create a short for you to be able to see, you know, the stitching process, because I find out that it was also stitched to show us all those movements, you know, that was inside it. I am still your Shoemaking Made Easy tutor, Odurole Mojibola. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for always watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to tell somebody about Jibbyfemforte, because all we do is make shoemaking easy and simple for you. I am definitely going to see you in my next video. Bye.